Welcome back. An important report out today. The 9th annual Oceania audit of Canada's fishery was released, and it found some fish are making a rebound. Many other species are not. Rebecca Schijns is a fishery scientist with the conservation group, and she is on the other coast today in Vancouver. It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
I have covered the fishery off and on for a very long time. The headline has always been that fish are in decline. Your report in the first line says Canada's fisheries have reached a decisive moment. Why now, and what is that decisive moment?
Yeah, so as you've highlighted, we've been doing these audits for 9 years. So after nearly a decade of auditing the fisheries management that the government is responsible for across Canada's waters, we finally have the foundations for recovery in place and, being acted upon for a number of stocks. We have stronger science, clear laws, progress in fisheries monitoring, and now a new wave of rebuilding plans. However, we still only have 1/3 of all stocks that are confidently in the healthy zone, and only 30 out of nearly 200 marine fish stocks that are fully protected by the Modernized Fisheries Act. So we're still lacking important rebuilding plans for depleted stocks, and there's still some gaps in both monitoring and science. So really right now, at a time of economic uncertainty, climate volatility, and global trade friction, it's essential to focus on rebuilding healthy fisheries.
The report indicates mismanagement of some stocks continues, a couple that we're very familiar with on the East Coast. Why does that continue to happen? What is being done to turn that around?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, that there's that progress, but there's also persistent gaps. And there still are cases of mismanagement that has, left too many stocks depleted for too long, which also makes fishing businesses vulnerable. With only 1/3 of Canadian fisheries being in the healthy zone, this is an underperforming sector, leaving money, jobs, and food off the table by failing to rebuild key species. So, we really are at a time where we have all the tools, and it's about using those tools to ensure that there's a legacy of abundance and a diversity of fish stocks to depend on.
Yeah, you mentioned diversity of stocks. Do we rely on too few species to fish, to eat? And does that put too much pressure on them? Should we be expanding, what we put on our plate?
Yeah, I mean, when we look at Canada's seafood economy, it's heavily reliant on a few trading partners and a few species. So just 77% of the landed value comes from 4 shellfish species. And so, we really need to be looking to rebuild the foundation, these ecosystems, healthy ground fish and healthy forage fish, so that markets are able to develop and can withstand changes from both global economics and these trading relationships, but also climate volatility, because healthy oceans are a buffer against climate change.
There's a great quote in the report that I want to read so the audience can hear it. It's from a scientist. He says that counting fish is easy, except they move and you can't see them. So is science being left out of the decision making, and what's the risk if we're not leaning on that enough?
Yeah, so I mean, we have seen progress in science assessments and more up-to-date assessments, but there's still some critical gaps, as well as gaps in fisheries monitoring. So, we have a good foundation for science for a lot of these stocks, but it's really about ensuring that the management decisions reflect both the science and the policies that Canada is accountable for. And with that, we can ensure that there's predictable, profitable fisheries from now and into the future.
You're mentioned in the report. You think Canada can restore the healthy fish populations within, a decade? What has to happen for that to come about?
Yeah, so we do have a Modernized Fisheries Act, and it hasn't been fully implemented over the past 6 years. It's only implemented for 30 out of nearly 200 stocks. So fast-tracking implementation and this rebuilding process would align with both the government's available funding and deliver benefits to coastal communities and the fishing industry sooner. every year of delay defers recovery, it can prolong losses and inflate future costs. We have to remember that rebuilding fisheries, it's a long-term investment and it's a correction to historical overfishing. And so there has to be patience and following the science to achieve those goals. But with these stocks that do have rebuilding plans, some of them can recover, within a decade to healthy levels.
Rebecca Schijns, it's an important report. We look for it every year this time of Oceania. Thank you very much for telling us about it. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, and check out our website and check out the report.
It's great reading. Thank you very much. We will take a break. We will be right back with much more.